I realize that maybe every episode we might want to introduce ourselves to people. What do you think?
You think? Maybe.
Why, do you assume that people know who you are when it comes to Twiniversity?
No. I'm surprised. Some people are like, oh my God, that's you. And I'm like, me? What?
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know.
I assume everybody knows who I am. I would hope.
They know you better than me.
Okay, well, hey guys, I'm Natalie Diaz, founder of Twiniversity and author of What to Do When You're What am I? Oh God, I can't even introduce myself. Okay, I'm gonna try again. Take two. Hey guys, I'm Natalie Diaz, founder of Twiniversity and author of What to Do When You're Having Two. I'm the mom of 400-year-old twins, the wife of a pretty decent husband, weirdly. I don't know, it's getting better actually as the kids get bigger. So that's hopeful. And what else would be my claim to fame? I'm the most disorganized small business owner you could ever possibly imagine. All right, Lauren, what's your intro?
Hi, I'm Lauren Oak. I am the resident postpartum doula for Twiniversity. I am a mom of 4 crazy girls, set of twins in the middle of that. Grandma also, believe it or not, wife of a crazy husband, but I'll keep him. And like you said, he's pretty decent. So, and a Long Islander. I love Long Island.
I like that. And you're also the owner of a dog with micro legs.
Yes.
That dog's leg.
He looks like it was hit over the head with a big mallet and on his back.
Like as a puppy, they removed the bone from his elbow to his shoulders.
Yes. He's missing parts of his legs, maybe. He's got a big normal sized dog body and little legs.
Did you ever do like a dog DNA test on him?
No. And we argue because I swear he is part Basset Hound. And Dan is like, no way. And I said, look at his little legs.
It could be Corgi. It could be Dachshund. He's long like a Dachshund, though.
Yeah, but he has like the body of like maybe like a lab, but then he's got this crazy, weird, curly tail. He's just, I don't know.
It's like a pug.
That's what you get when you adopt a dog at a bar.
Please, Lauren, please tell us that story.
We had no dogs. Our dogs had passed away. We hadn't had a dog in a few years, and my husband went to go watch football with his brother at a local bar. And he called me and said, can you come pick me up? I'm like, all right, I go pick him up. And he's standing in front of the bar with this puppy. And he's like, they had like a dog adoption, like a rescue thing outside the door of the bar.
Genius.
And I said to him, put the dog down. And he said, no, I want the dog. And he had a few drinks in him. And I said, no, we're not getting the dog. And he wouldn't leave until we got the dog. So we got the dog. But he's the best dog.
Oh, that's my favorite story of how dogs came to be. By the way, setting up a dog adoption outside of a bar is genius.
Yes.
On a Sunday. It was Sunday, no?
Sunday, yep.
So smart.
So we almost got his brother too.
Oh my God, imagine.
Dog, but then he was adopted. He's a good dog, I have to say. He came housebroken. He was like 6 weeks old. Not one problem, except that he chewed up Emily's glasses like a week after we got him. But that was it. Then the chewing stopped and he never had an accident in the house. He kind of is like a stuffed animal now. He just kind of lays around.
No, how old is he now?
He's 8. Cooper.
Gosh. So you got him the same time as we got Betty?
Yeah, around the same time.
That's ridiculous. What happened? Why did we do that? But I have no regrets about my dog.
No, I don't regret getting him. He was a good addition to the family.
Was he able to walk up the steps with his tiny legs?
No, if he did, he would go like he would put his 2 front paws up and then like lift himself up and then put the other 2 up. It took him a long time to go upstairs. And like sometimes I would just scoop him up and bring him up the stairs because I felt bad for him because he would just sit there like, I can't do it.
What about getting down the stairs?
It was the same thing. He would like sit there and like be scared.
Oh.
So he's bigger now, obviously. but he can do it.
But since his body is so big in comparison to his tiny legs, I'd be worried that he would fall down.
Jump with 2 legs at a time instead of going like normal, like one, like left foot, right foot.
Yeah.
He would have to like it was bizarre. I wish I would have videotaped that because it was very funny.
I wish you would have too. That's too cute. Oh my God. Our dogs are the best, I have to say. Don't get a dog till your kids are in fourth grade, though. I think that's going to be my best dog advice.
Yeah, I think Molly was in first grade or kindergarten at the time. So that it was a good age because like the twins were, I want to say third grade. So like they were excited and I was like, okay, you got to walk the dog. You got to feed the dog. And they still do. They definitely take care of the dog and they love this dog.
My kids love the dog, but nobody takes. I mean, they walk her. See, here we have to walk the dog. You just open the back door.
We can just open the back door, but they do walk him once in a while just to get him out of the house. And
oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I want to tell you about today's guest, which has literally nothing to do with any of this. And it's actually a little bit of a serious topic.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to talk to Erica Gutierrez today. So she is a mom of 2, 4, 5 kids. Had to literally count them.
Beats me.
She totally beats you. And this is how else she beats you. She has 2 sets of twins.
Ooh. Wow.
Exactly. Wow. Exactly. So when we first found her and I knew I wanted to interview her, we reached out to her, but since then, so guys, for you that are listening, we tape these at all different times. So some of these episodes, they may have been taped last week. Some of these episodes could have been taped 2 months ago. It really depends on how we want to release the schedule and how we base the schedule for, I don't even know if you know this, Lauren, but how we base the schedule is we try to balance it. So if it's a very heavy topic, we don't have like 4 weeks of heavy topics because it's too much. No. And not saying that story wasn't valid, but we just want to make sure that we are living a very balanced life and not always pursuing or not pursuing, that's the wrong word. We're not painting twin life in a very negative way if we did 800 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So this is one of our more serious topics. And what happened is when we met her, she was still expecting her second set of twins. So I was like, ooh, I want to talk to her because I want to know, like, when you're pregnant for the second time with a set of twins, is the pregnancy more enjoyable because you're less stressed? And like, okay, like, the first outcome was okay. And maybe you could enjoy it a little bit more because so many people that are pregnant with twins, they're so consumed with, oh my God, early delivery and freaking out about this. So that's really what I wanted to talk to her about. But unfortunately, she actually delivered the babies since we first wanted to interview her.
Okay.
And I'm not usually lost for words.
Yeah.
But like, I've been thinking about her a lot. Like I go to bed and she's on my mind.
Aw.
And so she had her first set of twins. They were born at 38 weeks, fraternal twins, and everything was great. Then she gets pregnant when those twins were only a few months old.
Oh boy. I know a lot of people that happened to.
So she gets pregnant with the second set of twins. The first set of twins being fraternal, for those of you in the twin world, know that fraternal twins they come with, of course, complications, and they could come with complications, I should say, but they don't come with like a bag of their own special goodies. They're just 2 babies that happen to be in there at the same time. Yep. But the second set of twinnies are identicals.
And there's issues. There can be issues with that.
Yes. So I can't remember if they were Momo twins or Modai twins. I think that they were Momo twins. And she ended up needing the twin-to-twin ablation surgery.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk to her about that. And her babies are still in the NICU.
Oh, how early did she have them? Do you remember?
She had, of course I remember. So she had them at 29 weeks and 1 day, I believe.
Wow. So that's a whole different experience than the first set of twins.
It is. But the thing that's really bothering me is that, like, I didn't say this to her during the episode. And when she listens to this, don't be mad at me, Erica. But when we were talking, I kept thinking, I was getting angry, not at her, but at her medical team. Because I don't think they were really listening to her.
Whoa, I hate that.
And she's from the West Coast, and not saying that here we would do any better. I know that there's whatever, guys. I really, when we talk about like how you have to advocate for
Yes.
yourself and it's important to do that, I feel like a broken freaking record.
Well, I think some people get intimidated by doctors, like, oh, they're so smart and everything. But sometimes there's a lot to say for going with your gut, and not just going with the flow. Not that you should go against your doctor's orders or whatever, but like
Yeah.
sometimes there is a little something more to it.
There's, and even if you don't know, and this is a truth, I get all tongue tied because I get so mad. Now, I'm not saying you need to have a birth plan or birth preferences sheet, but here's what the reason why I like to kind of not force people to do it, but recommend, because I
Yeah.
want people to know that there are options.
Yes, yes. It doesn't always have to be one set way.
Nope. And it may not even go that way.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the thing is, if you knew that you had options and
Yeah.
you perhaps had a discussion with your partner or your parent or whoever is going to be at your side during your birth, if they knew what you wanted,
Yes.
then maybe there might be a little bit more clarity to the medical staff.
Definitely.
So we're going to talk to Erica. She's going to tell us this story. And the title is, I poop you not. The title is How TikTok Saved Her Twins.
Ooh, that's my favorite app now lately.
I know, that's why we have our team TikTok secret text chain that
Yes.
not all of our friends are in on. They won't listen to this. So that's the good news, is that I could always count on our friends to ignore everything that we do.
Yes.
Nobody cares. So I really think you'll get, especially as the doula in you.
Yes.
The doula in you is going to lose your crap when you hear this.
I'm going to have to listen to it.
All right. Are you ready to meet Erica?
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, guys, here is Miss Erica Gutierrez. Erica, I can't believe that you are spending time with us today when your babies are still in the NICU.
I know. I just go with them at 10 in the morning. So I had time before at 9 to be here. But thank you for having me.
Listen, now you definitely would qualify as a super duper mom. So you are the mama of 5 girls. You have your oldest daughter who is 5. Then you have your 15-month-old twin girls. And now you have another set of twin girls, and they are a month old now, but you delivered them a little bit early. But 5 girls.
Yes, it's crazy. When we found out we were having our first set of twins and we knew it was fraternal twins, we were like, you know what? I hope we have one boy and one girl, And so we had the gender reveal and I could have sworn like there's one boy in there. And as soon as like it was pink confetti everywhere, we were just like, I was happy. I'm not gonna lie, but my husband was just like in shock, like, how am I gonna have 3 girls? So then we went fast forward, we're having twins again. We're like, we knew they were identical. So we knew it was either 2 girls or 2 boys. And my husband was like, oh my goodness, I hope it's 2 boys, but he's just meant to be a girl dad.
That's it. That's literally, that's what's going to happen. How old were the first set of 20s when you found out that you were expecting another set?
5 months old. They were still like, they were just laying down in the bed as I was telling my husband that we were going to have twins again, because we knew we were pregnant.
Okay.
But so basically when I found out I was pregnant again, I had my first appointment. I asked the doctor, like the first question I asked him, is it one baby? And he said there was one baby. So me and my husband were like, you know what, we got this. Like we've already been through twins. Having one baby is nothing. So we were already content with the fact we're having one more baby. So then I go to my second appointment and the doctor's like still going through the whole appointment with just seeing one baby. But I saw the ultrasound and I was like, wait, what is this? I see something here. I thought it was maybe like I don't know, the placenta or I don't know, something else. So he like directs the sonogram to it and he's like, oh, there's another heartbeat. You're having another baby. I was like, no.
Oh my
I'm not gonna lie.
gosh.
At first, I couldn't. Like I was gonna faint because obviously I know I've already gone through the experience
Mhm.
with twins. It's double the work and it can be exhausting. So just thinking of having like two sets, I was like, oh my goodness, like how am I going to survive this?
Well, you're surviving
Yeah.
it. But
Yes.
when, when, like, how did you even find out that you were like pregnant? Because at 5 months after delivering twinnies, your period is so wacky that like it takes sometimes, like a bit to kind of regulate. Did you immediately go back to having regular periods? Like how soon after delivery?
You know, I think so. I mean, I can't really remember. I think the first time around it was, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if it was my period or if it
Mm-hmm.
was just the C-section, like that I was still, like bleeding from that.
Yeah.
Because when my delivery with the first set of twins, I had both like a vaginal delivery and a C-section. So I was like, maybe it's just extra blood or I don't know. And I know like it's 5 months in, but
Mm-hmm.
that was just like those were just my thoughts. But then after the OB just mentioned, you know what, I think it is your period. And since I wasn't fully breastfeeding because one of the twins didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
she didn't want to do breastfeeding. She's like, maybe it is like your period. But by then, I mean, I had already like, I guess, found out I was pregnant.
Yeah. Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
so it was
It's meant to
crazy.
be. It's meant to be. Now, your
Yeah.
first daughter, you went full term, 40 weeks, you delivered.
Yes.
Your
Mm-hmm.
twinnies, you basically went full term. You delivered them at 38 weeks.
38 weeks.
And
Yeah.
you just kind of slipped in that it was a vaginal and a C-section. So
Mm-hmm.
when you had your baby A vaginally, what was the reason that they decided to deliver baby B via C-section?
So there was a point when they were both face down,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess kind of like towards the end, twin B ended up being transverse.
Okay.
They told me they would still go forward with a vaginal delivery because I guess it occurs that when the first baby comes out, there's more room or space, and the second baby just fixes itself. But that was not the case with me. The doctor was like trying to I guess flip her for about
Mhm.
40 minutes,
Mm.
and that just didn't work. He ended up just doing an emergency C-section
Okay.
towards the end. Yeah.
That was it. How did you feel about that? Was that disappointing, or were you like, I'm just happy this is over?
No, I was very disappointed because I just didn't want a C-section. Like I've had surgeries before this, like
Hmm.
just other, and I know it hurts. Like I know it's painful. So I just didn't want a C-section. So
Yeah.
I know like even like waiting for the second baby to come, I was just
Hmm.
pushing like my best, like, no, come on. Like I didn't care. Like, and the thing is, I know that there's doctors that also deliver breech
Hmm.
babies. And I was expecting like at least for the doctor to try to deliver her breech,
Hmm.
but I don't think he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a bit disappointed towards the end to have a C-section.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then when you found out that you were expecting another set of twins, did you
Mhm.
think about your delivery, or how soon did you start thinking about your delivery? And did you even did you make it far enough to even have those thoughts, or were you just too busy with the girls?
Well, I mean, I think at that point I had already gone through the C-section,
Hmm.
and I think my labor, how would you say, labor and deliveries or
Hmm.
just deliveries, they haven't been so great. So by that time I was just accepting the fact that I would have a C-section again,
Hmm.
especially since it's so soon, and I know like it takes about a year to heal completely from a C-section. I was like, I don't think it'll be a good idea to try to do it vaginally. So in my head, I had already just made up the fact that I was going to have a C-section. I was like planning, like, you know what? I'm just going to pick a date. Everything's
Hmm.
going to go smooth. I'm going to like wake up one day at a certain time. I'm just going to walk in. I already know because I tend to have my babies like in the middle of the night. So the next day I'm just like exhausted with no sleep.
Mhm.
So this one I was planning on like, early in the morning. That way I'm rested and that's not the plan for me again.
Yes.
It
So
wasn't
it's
the
not.
plan.
So Mother Nature was like, yeah, Erica, that's not going to happen
Like,
this
you need
time.
to be
So
full of experiences.
that's it. So your second set of twinnies, now you find out that they're identical.
Yes.
And what week was that you realized that, okay, now we have identical twins, we're going to have a whole kind of different situation with this pregnancy?
So it was confirmed. I think it was during the anatomy scan at 20 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The second appointment, when they told me that I was having twins, the doctor kind of mentioned that it looked identical because he only saw one bag.
Okay.
But then I went to like the actual ultrasound tech, and she was saying, "Oh, I'm not sure." So they kind of confused me. So I was like, maybe I'm not having identical twins. But then during the 20-week scan, they just confirmed that it was,
Okay.
because I guess they were having trouble seeing like the separations of the membranes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a complicated pregnancy because I guess back then it was already the twin A.
Mm-hmm.
Her bag, she didn't have a lot of amniotic fluid.
Okay.
So she already, like, you couldn't really see her membrane, was so close to her skin.
Okay.
So they assumed that they were like Momo twins.
Uh-huh.
But then later on they found like the membrane was so close.
Okay.
So then they were Modi twins, but they're
Okay.
still identical.
Okay. So when did you realize that you now, because they were identical, that you had further complications?
At the 20-week scan.
So at that same week. So that week you were like, okay, we weren't sure, but now we now know. And when did they diagnose you? Like officially, was it that 20 weeks for twin to twin transfusion syndrome?
So basically it all started because, they do the blood work.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor told me that the California screening test came back positive, like for the genetic screening.
Okay.
So they suspected that the babies might have Down syndrome. So then I went to the genetic counselor. She was just giving me like a full rundown of everything. This was right before my 20-week scan. So then as I go into the 20-week scan, they found that twin A, her stomach was, it was big, like I guess it was the bladder. She couldn't pee. It was all just stuck in there. It just looked big and there was so much room in there.
Okay.
So that's when like they started seeing, like different things.
Okay.
Yeah, different issues that were happening. They didn't know what it was, which is why they wouldn't say it was a twin to twin transfusion syndrome, but they thought it might be. But it was probably confirmed like a month after. And it was because of TikTok, because I started posting my journey, and then, like a lot of different moms share their experiences. They told me, I mentioned that they might think it was twin to twin transfusion syndrome. So then one of the moms said, well, just really look into it, like kind of pressure the doctor into like looking into it, because it was too late for me when they found out that it was the twin to twin transfusion syndrome. It was too late. So then my babies passed. And as soon as I read that, I was like, in my next appointment, I was like, can you please just get a special, like the specialist for this? Because I want to know if that's what it is. And the crazy part was that they scheduled everything fast, because obviously these things, like, you need to do them quickly.
You got to move quick.
Yeah. So we went on a Monday to the specialist. He said he also was kind of iffy. He said, this is like stage 1, but he still decided to go through with the surgery for the next day. And then I remember being in the bed, like, because I was awake during the surgery, and he was mentioning, oh, wow, this is a stage 4. This turned stage 4 overnight. So I was like so happy that I just, got to it. And I was like, no, I just need confirmation, because I think that possibly saved my baby's life for twin A, because she's the one that was suffering at all.
So basically, it was literally TikTok saved your children.
Yeah. basically, because I mean, I'm new to all this. I'm not sure. Like, I wasn't sure of anything. Like, I didn't even know what twin to twin transfusion syndrome was. Like,
Mhm.
it's just people's experiences, how they were telling me. And then other moms were like, yeah, that's what my babies had. I went through with the surgery and they're
Yeah.
now 18 years old, or, like just like different stories, or
Yeah.
they're 1 year old. So that kind of pushed me to just get to it and like tell the doctor to do something about it
So that
because
was
they were
21
iffy.
weeks? You think 21 weeks you had your surgery? Or do you remember when you did?
No, it was at 25.
At
So
25.
it was still, I'm telling you, it was like a month from when they started mentioning it.
Okay.
Like they were iffy about it. Like then the next week, the next doctor was like, because they had different doctors
Yeah.
seeing me each week because I guess they want a second opinions.
Okay.
The second doctor was like, no, I don't think this is twin to twin transfusion syndrome because twin B looks normal. I guess for it to be twin to twin transfusion syndrome, twin B has to look way bigger
Yeah.
than normal, and twin A or the other twin has to be smaller.
Yes.
But since twin B still looked normal size and everything, she didn't think that's what it was.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, it's
that's how I
true.
kept carrying on. Yeah.
Yeah, because commonly with twin to twin, it's that basically there's a donor twin who's receiving everything, and then, or that's giving, and then the recipient twin, that's the bigger twin that's receiving everything. So if there's not like a huge size disparity, people sometimes just dismiss it. But in your case, I'm sad that that it took them so long, but whatever, it doesn't matter. 25 weeks, you had your surgery, you go home. What do they tell you from there? Do they say, listen, here are the signs of preterm labor, look out for these things, or don't worry, you're going to make it to 38 weeks again? What type of advice do they give you when you're after your surgery?
So after the surgery, they basically say that well, for me specifically, since they knew I already had a set of twins, they told me that I couldn't do anything, that I needed a lot of help, that I couldn't pick up anything from the floor. I couldn't
Mhm.
carry my twins. I couldn't be active. I basically just had to,
Go
be
on
kind of
full
like
bed rest.
chill. Yes. Um, because they said you have a hole already in your, like in your stomach, like in
Mhm.
your water is most
Yes.
likely to break if you do
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
So they told me anything like minimal possible. Like I just had to stay
Stay on bed rest.
resting, relaxing.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's hold this thought. And I want to take a quick break. And when I come back, I want to talk about what happens after that 25 weeks and after your surgery. So sit right there. We'll be right back. All right, Erica. So we are at 25 weeks. You had your twin to twin transfusion syndrome surgery. You're awake during it, which I don't think that many people realize. And, the surgery is so unbelievable. It's not performed all over the country. There's only some hospitals. Well, it is performed all over the country, but it's not at every hospital. It's got to definitely be, you got to check around, because even here on the East Coast and like you on the West Coast, it's not every hospital that does it. But there are some hospitals who are very well versed because they do it a lot. And then some people with not as much experience. But as Erica said, it could really just pop up. So you definitely have to keep an eye on things. So 25 weeks, they send you home. You have to be on complete and utter bed rest. You're not even allowed to pick up your older 20s who were still babies at the time and your older daughter. How did you manage that?
Honestly, I had a lot of help from my husband and mom. But I mean, my husband obviously is working.
Mhm.
So my mom was like practically helping me through it all. Like she would come, and the thing that helped was that I already had a schedule for my first set of twins.
Mhm.
Um, so my mom just would follow the schedule, but basically she was the one doing everything for me. And I am really grateful for that because I don't know how I would have done it
Yeah.
if she wouldn't have offered me that help.
Moms are the best. Thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God for us. And then we'll eventually do it for our kids if and when they need us.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
of
now
course.
fast forward, you make it to 29 weeks. What happens? Like what happens? Do you start feeling contractions at home? Do they see signs of preeclampsia? What led you to go into that hospital at around that time, a few weeks after your twin-to-twin surgery?
So that day, the day I went into the hospital, we were getting ready to go to my niece's birthday party. But as we were in her house, I was just sitting down in the table and I get up to get something. And as I get up, I just feel like something rushing. I was like, wait, am I peeing or what's going on? So I tried to hold it in, but that wasn't working. So I just ran straight to the restroom. It was just like a little bit. So I
Okay.
wasn't sure. It wasn't like, like a big
Yes.
splurge of water or liquid, whatever fluid. So then I decided to call the hospital and I explained to them what happened. And obviously, because of my whole situation with the surgery and all that, they just suggested I come in to be seen. So I went into the hospital that day because I thought my water had broken, but they said it hadn't because they checked.
Okay.
And the only reason why I stayed or they decided to keep me was because they were doing labs and they saw that there was protein in my urine, which is the signs of preeclampsia. And I stayed there overnight and I kept wanting to leave. I remember I was ready to go back home because I wasn't expecting to be at the hospital and I missed my girls and they missed me too. They kept calling me to FaceTime and crying. They wanted to see me. But then they decided to keep me an extra night. So I was like, oh my goodness. But I guess it's just meant to be because that night, that's when I started feeling I guess the real labor pains because I started feeling contractions since before the surgery. I don't know. My body was already feeling I guess it was a Braxton Hicks. But that night, it was my first time actually experiencing real contractions because I couldn't take it. I kept telling the nurse it's hurting me. So they kept trying to monitor because they didn't have anything on me, no IV or anything because they were planning on discharging me soon.
Okay.
But so then they had to connect me with the or monitor the babies, I should say. And then they also have the contraction one to see if I'm having any. And they're like, well, it doesn't show you're having any contractions. I was like, okay. So I was like, maybe I should just use the restroom. I need to poop or something. But no, I kept feeling them as the night kept progressing. I was trying to sleep and they would the pain would wake me up. I was like, okay, this is not normal. So I kept complaining. And I guess one of those, and the funny part was that, I mentioned, I wanted to go home. So through the pain, it was hurting, but I was trying to be quiet because I just I don't want them to hear me. And then they keep me another night. So, but one of those, I just couldn't take it. And I just started and she's like, what's wrong? And I guess she saw my pain and that's when she finally decided to call the doctor and it's just at 4 a.m. So then he came in, he checked me and then he's like, oh, I feel the baby's hand. So
what
then
the heck?
So they just rushed me right then and there into the OR and I had the girls and I was by myself. My husband was at home with my other girls. I wasn't expecting to give birth.
Yeah.
So then I just ended up giving birth there.
Yeah. When you went into the hospital, did they do any internal exams to check your cervix or they were just doing external exams?
Yeah, they did. Well, they put a metal, it's kind of like the ones for the, I don't know honestly, I don't know what it's called, but to check, to get cells, I guess, from inside or the liquid from inside, just to see if it was my water that had broken. I'm not sure if they checked for the cervix, but I think they did because I do remember hearing her say that my cervix still looked good.
Okay.
So it might have been something that happened just overnight again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because it just all happened so quick.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh my gosh. So they take you into the OR, you have an emergency C-section, you deliver your babies now, and it's 29 weeks. Is it 29 weeks on the day or 29 weeks in a few days?
And 5 days.
So 29 weeks, a few days. How big were they when they were born?
2 pounds. Yeah, they were like 2 pounds. And the lengthwise, honestly, I don't remember that well. Like I know I have the cards and everything,
Yeah.
but from that day, everything was just like a big blur.
Yeah.
Like I remember um barely hearing her cry. Like I guess they're so small
Yeah.
that you could hear their cry, but it's like so faint
Yeah.
that for me it was like, oh my gosh, like is something obviously something was
Mhm.
wrong, the fact that they're preterm.
Yeah.
But I guess I was just shocked as compared to my other girls. Like I've always heard like a big
Yeah.
strong cry.
Well, they were 38 weeks. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's a lot of different weeks. When you had the twin to twin surgery, did they give you the steroid shots for the baby's lung development or they don't do that?
Not then. So they gave them to me that night I went into the hospital. So it
Okay.
was
So the
just
day
like,
before you delivered, they
yes,
gave you the steroid shot. That's
yes.
unbelievable. That is such a quick delivery. And so now
Hmm.
you have these babies, they're in the NICU still. You still have the bracelets on your wrist right now. And
Yes.
how are they doing? Like how's the NICU experience been since you have not had NICU experience wonderfully with your
Yeah.
last three girls? How is it going?
You know, it's kind of bittersweet because, like I said, so now the girls' names are Alana and Celeste. Alana's the
Oh,
one she's the one that's having complications.
okay.
And then Celeste is over here like doing like the best. Like she's almost ready to come home. Like she already drank one full bottle. They're just waiting for her to continuously drink, to eat more and to continue gaining weight. But then you have Alana here who just had a surgery 2 days ago. And she got a vesicostomy to get rid of her catheter because like I mentioned, her bladder was,
Mm-hmm.
like she can't pee. So it's just hard because there's a lot going on with her and you can see the difference. She's still 3 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to have her grow, but as time keeps going by, she still needs more surgeries.
Okay.
It's just hard. Like there's a lot of things going on. So, like I said, it's bittersweet. I mean, I wish none of them would be in the NICU,
Yeah.
but I think regardless whether I had them to term, she would have ended up in the NICU because she does have a lot of complications. And
Okay.
yeah.
So are they going to keep, like, does she need to have more surgeries before discharge? Or is it that they're looking and saying, well, around, 1 year old, she's going to need this? Like, have they given you, any information on what the future looks like?
You know, so she was born with they say a lot of anomalies, which is a lot of birth
Mm-hmm.
defects, you can say. As when she was born, her esophagus isn't connected to her stomach.
Okay.
So her stomach, like the tube that's supposed to be connected, like all the way up, it was connected to the trachea. So when she was born, all the air she was breathing was going straight into her stomach and like it would go
Oh,
up. So she had to have that. Her kidney is not working completely because of all the like her bladder issue, all the pee she was collecting. I guess it
mm-hmm.
just kind of messed
Yeah.
with it, which is why she's having trouble with that.
Okay.
They still haven't figured out what's going down in her I forgot what they call it, but like in her bladder, where she's
Okay.
supposed to pee
So
from.
her urethra.
Yeah,
So
so
over there.
yes, so her
Okay.
yes. So there's like many things. They don't ever tell me like they don't confirm when
Yeah.
she's going home. They don't confirm if gonna have surgery soon
Mm-hmm.
or if like how far along they're gonna be because basically they say like how they say in the NICU it's whatever she shows she's ready for.
Yep.
And since she's having trouble with her kidney, like the food that everything she's eating, like she's not gaining weight
Mm-hmm.
as she should. So their main goal right now is just for her to gain weight and to grow
Okay.
bigger for her to
Okay.
have more surgeries. So I'm not
Okay.
sure if she's gonna. I mean, I'm sure she'll have more surgeries even after she comes home,
Yeah.
but for right now, I'm just not sure when she's coming home.
Was she baby A or B?
She was baby A in my stomach, but she turned into baby B because she came out second.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Was she the donor or the recipient? Like when she was born, was she
Think
bigger?
no, she was the smaller one.
Okay. Okay.
So I think she was a donor.
It was so in general, the best thing that they told me when my babies were in the NICU was that you can't expect them to go home till their delivery date. Like literally, if they come home before the delivery date, you're doing great. But odds are, if Mother Nature had a plan for them, and so now they're going to just try to replicate it medically. And we're very lucky, knock on wood, that we do have the medical, the everything's that we have, and the doctors that we do have, and it's really miraculous how much she's going to grow in the next month. So yeah, so she's still got another 5 weeks there. It's looking like, if we want to go by due dates, and a lot of stuff is going to happen, but it's nerve-wracking. How's the support in the hospital? Do you have a social worker in the hospital that is kind of guiding you through everything, or is it just the nurses that are helping you?
Actually, it's pretty great. They have like a different. I do have a social worker.
Mhm.
The nurses are also helpful, but it's called palliative care. So
Mhm.
there's like a specific person that comes and like she drops by. Bridget, she always stops by to see how I'm doing. She holds meetings for me with the doc. She helps create these meetings with the doctors. She's there while they're like talking to me. She's obviously she knows more. So as they're there speaking, she'll ask questions for me that I didn't even think of, like
Mhm.
asking, or, she's very helpful. And then they have psychologists that help too with the process. There's chaplains that come and pray. Like they have like a whole team,
Good.
and then they also have some another person that she helps with my daughters at home.
Mhm.
So like they come and bring little things like that they're from sisters, or like they come and tell me, oh, this is how you can tell your daughter this, or books on what to say to her, or like
Okay.
if I ever need help, like Summer, which is my oldest, if she ever comes and asks me like, oh, why are they still in there? Like, or if I need help explaining, they help me
That's
like
great.
what to say. So it's a great team. I
That's
feel
really,
like
really great. That's
they have helped
fantastic.
out a lot. Yeah.
Does California have a process that basically like the babies could start receiving like financial support once they're born? I know that when babies are born under a certain weight, that some states automatically put them on like Social Security, and it's really starts making it a little bit easier for the
Yes.
families that have to deal with that. Is California a state that tries to help their
Yes.
families? Good.
Yes. So right away they sent like a form to apply.
Mm-hmm.
It's I forgot the specific name of it, but yes, like they do help. It's the CDC. I know the abbreviation. I just don't know like the
Okay.
what it stands for. But yeah, so you do apply for it, and then they're very good with helping with all that.
Good. Good, good, good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how like the country, it's not a federal program. It doesn't make sense to me. It should be federal
Yeah,
if we're
yeah.
all going through this at the same point. But some states, hopefully, if anybody's listening to this and your babies are born under a certain weight, the social worker just kind of comes right into play, and they start getting, the
Yes,
certain
yes.
support services, even for post discharge. That, if
Mhm.
the babies needed any medical equipment at home, or if you needed, any special anything or therapies or interventions, they're really good about that. And I was hoping that I would imagine that California would be
Yes,
pretty good
yes,
about that.
yes. So they do, yes. And I'm very grateful for that too as well.
Very, very good. So I really like, I'm not going to keep you any longer because you got to go back to the babies, but I'm so thankful that you shared this. And it's unbelievable how, even if you have, a few sets of twinnies, how different everything could be.
Yes,
And
yes.
I cannot believe, but it's TikTok is something, and all social platforms are amazing. And I know that people are like, oh, it's not good for the kids, and oh, it's the, I think it's what you take from it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really what you take from it. And I love that you got really, really good advice. I've received really good advice from it too for, if I'm out there, even sometimes on Twiniversity, I'll put out like an SOS. And the funny part is sometimes those questions are for me, but it's great. It's great when you have a community, whether they are virtual, in person, whatever, it doesn't matter. But we really, really can learn a lot from each other. And honestly, Erica, I really thank you for your time today. And we learned a lot from you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Don't be ridiculous. And we can't wait to hear the updates on the babies. And we're definitely going to stalk you and follow up. And it's great because we can find you on TikTok, which is so fantastic.
Yes.
So
yes, and I'll be updating there. So
good. So we're going to put all the links in the show notes below so that everybody could follow Erica too. And for those of you that are listening, if you have questions and if you're not on that platform, you could email them to us at community@twiniversity.com, or you could send us a message on any different social platform. We're just at Twiniversity everywhere. Just slip on in to our DMs. And Erica, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
You got it. And for the rest of you guys, enjoy your day. And I will see you later, alligators. Thanks for listening.